how the people were so desperate to pick this man, you know, this unbelievable narcissist who could change the face of our world if we let him. And the only thing that will save us, and I know you can stop this. I know you can stop this, because the power of the people is bigger than those assholes that are there in Washington.
Cher Sarkeesian just went full auto on Donald Trump and Melania's marriage, and it's messier than a reality show divorce finale. The Queen of Shade didn't hold back, exposing secrets, roasting Trump like a baby doll, and delivering a rant so fiery it could melt Mar-a-Lago's gold decor. If you thought Melania's "I really don't care" jacket was cold, wait till you hear what Cher just unleashed. This is pure, iconic chaos.
Like, on paper, he looks so good, you know? He was brought up rich, he had a good education, he's got all these young chicks, I don't know how young, but he's got all these young chicks, and he just keeps trading them in on younger chicks, and he's got all this money, and he's famous, and still he's such a...
Somewhere deep in the gaudy, gold-plated caverns, Donald Trump was choked on his neck. One moment, he was basking in his usual delusions, rage posting in all caps about how he single-handedly invented democracy, inflating his crowd sizes to numbers that even the population of China would side-eye, and blaming windmills for everything from high gas prices to his bad hair days. The next, boom. Cher happened.
He's an asshole. He's... No, he's such a dangerous... I don't know how he is a candidate. He is so dangerous, and what he brings to my country, what he's awakened in my country, is bigotry and distrust and a certain kind of supremacy.
And when Cher happens, she doesn't just happen, she erupts like a sequined volcano of truth, blasting hypocrisy and nonsense into orbit. This wasn't just a call-out. This was a full-scale, Broadway-level verbal demolition, complete with pyrotechnics, a wind machine, and possibly backup dancers. The kind of public thrashing so brutal that even Fox News had to pause for a moment before scrambling to spin it into some kind of weird cancel culture conspiracy.
I have to tell you something. If someone said that my daughter was a hot piece of ass, I would put my fist through his face. Someone who would bring down the country because he doesn't win does not deserve anything, deserves nothing. He deserves nothing. He does not deserve any kind of respect, loyalty. I don't think he has two moral fibers to rub.
The internet? Oh, it was screaming. Memes shot across cyberspace faster than Trump's lawyers filing last-minute legal appeals. TikTok turned into a non-stop remix festival. X, formerly known as Twitter, but let's be real, it's still Twitter, and even Elon Musk can't make that platform as embarrassing as Trump does, imploded with hashtags. Even your uncle, the one who still shares blurry photos of Ronald Reagan on Facebook with captions like "Real leaders don't need teleprompters," had to stop mid-misinformation post to witness the carnage. Cher will always have something to say. She's been a force of nature for decades, and silence has never been her style.
Lies. He tells something, and then you go back and you see what he said, and it seems like the truth both times. He's so terrific at lying. I've never seen anybody so good. I mean, it's amazing. I could go on and on this subject forever, because I'm so traumatized by the subject forever, because I'm so traumatized by...
If you're enjoying, please subscribe. This time, she unleashed a truth so devastating that even Trump's hairpiece flinched in terror. It wasn't just a jab, it was a full-on rhetorical haymaker that sent his fragile ego scattering like a million tiny, bankrupt casino chips. Cher, armed with the unshakable confidence of a woman who has not only survived, but thrived through the cutthroat music industry, Hollywood drama, and enough reinventions to make a phoenix jealous, wasn't about to hold back. She's outlasted critics, trends, and at least 87 farewell tours, each one more iconic than the last. So when she leaned in, smirked, and let the truth fly like a rhinestone-studded wrecking ball, the internet did what it does best: explode.
I will try and be as direct and honest with you as I possibly can be. I am positive that you are the most unattractive man I have ever met in my entire...
Within minutes, her words had ignited a social media supernova. Memes, tweets, and reaction videos flooded every corner of the internet, with supporters cheering her on and opponents scrambling to respond. But Cher? She didn't even flinch. She's been here before. She's faced tougher adversaries than a reality TV star turned politician. And if history has taught us anything, it's this: when Cher speaks, the world listens. And when she drags, she does it with style. Now, let's discuss Trump's inevitable reaction, because we all knew he wasn't about to let this one slide. Somewhere in his golf cart-shaped panic room, alarms were blaring as his advisors scrambled like contestants in an episode of Survivor, frantically trying to figure out how to spin this disaster into something less humiliating. Should they pretend Cher never said anything? Should they dig into their tired old playbook and call her a washed-up has-been? Because, of course, attacking a woman who has outlasted disco, Reaganomics, and several decades of autotune is clearly the move. Or should they go with the classic Trump tactic, throw a tantrum so loud and so all caps that it drowns out reality itself?
The people he will bring with him will put an end to any hope that women have of getting the rights that we had in Roe versus Wade. I believe they will put an end to any gay marriage. They will put an end to gay adoption. It's not going to hurt me. I'm 70. It's not going to do anything to me, but it's going to do stuff to young people. And that really scares me, and it really...
And then, like clockwork, it happened. The dreaded, rage-fueled, typo-laden meltdown on Truth Social. You could practically hear the frantic tapping of his tiny ketchup-stained fingers as he mashed his keyboard in furious disbelief, unable to comprehend how Cher of all people, had the audacity to call him out. And so, with all the grace of a malfunctioning fax machine, he unleashed his signature digital tantrum. Sad Cher, who is a total loser. Fake music, worst career, never been successful. Bad at singing, bad at life. Nobody even likes her. Everyone is saying this. The message, as incoherent as it was predictable, read like a mix of Mad Libs and a toddler's meltdown at a toy store. The irony of a man who spent his life clinging to reality TV fame, trying to discredit a woman who has conquered music, film, and pop culture for over 6 decades was completely lost on him. But then again, self-awareness has never been his strong suit. Oh, the irony. The man who thinks YMCA is a personal anthem was out here attempting to insult the career of a woman who has been a cultural phenomenon for over 6 decades. Trump trying to dismiss Cher's career is like a pigeon trying to insult an eagle. It's like arguing Michael Jordan wasn't that great by listing all of his championship rings. And of course, the internet responded accordingly. The memes came at him faster than subpoenas. Every quote tweet was a masterpiece. Every Instagram post a Renaissance painting of mockery. Even TikTok, a platform mostly run by teenagers too young to remember Trump's pre-reality show days, had a field day turning his meltdown into musical remixes that Cher herself could probably use as her next album intro.
I believe, none of us are perfect, but I believe she's genuine, and I believe, unlike Trump, who his friend of 20 years said the other night, Donnie Deutsch, said, he doesn't want to be president. He said, no one's more surprised than him. He wants the crowds. He wants the adulation. He doesn't give a about the world.
The funniest part of it all? Cher didn't even need to lift a finger to respond. She simply sat back and let the internet do what it does best: roast Donald Trump into oblivion. While he was spiraling, frantically trying to control the narrative, sweating through his ill-fitting suit like a man who just realized he left the stove on, Cher was somewhere completely unbothered. She was probably lounging in an exquisite velvet robe, sipping a perfectly crafted martini, basking in the sheer chaos she had unleashed. And why wouldn't she? It was the kind of chaos that felt almost poetic, the kind of takedown that didn't require any effort from her at all. This wasn't just a clapback. It was a cultural moment, a moment that played out like a perfectly written scene from a satire film. The only difference, it was real life, and Trump was the punchline. Meanwhile, his entire team was in full-blown DEFCON 1 panic mode. His PR crew, if you could even call them that, considering most of his staff was made up of whatever interns hadn't rage quit yet, was scrambling to contain the disaster. It was like watching crime scene investigators try to clean up a massacre, except instead of blood, the floor was littered with the shattered remnants of Trump's pride. Every attempt to spin the situation only made it worse. Every damage control effort only fanned the flames. It was as if they were trying to put out a fire by throwing gasoline on it.
Okay, you have, rightly so, been incredibly outspoken about your disapproval of President Donald Trump. Say one nice thing about him.
No! What's one nice thing about him? There's nothing nice about him. I can't say one nice thing about him.
And then there was Fox News, doing what Fox News does best, desperately twisting the narrative into something, anything, that could deflect from the humiliation Trump was experiencing. They were likely running breathless segments about how Cher was an elitist Hollywood liberal who was out of touch with real Americans. Maybe they even found a way to work in some absurd conspiracy theory about how she secretly funds Antifa, personally engineered inflation, and once looked at an American flag without saluting it properly. The message was clear. It wasn't that Trump had embarrassed himself beyond belief. No, it was that Cher was the real villain here. But no amount of frantic Fox News segments, no amount of panicked spin from his inner circle could stop what was happening. The internet had already decided the winner of this feud, and it wasn't the guy ranting incoherently on Truth Social. The final act of this meltdown was, as expected, a classic Trump rally, one that felt less like a speech and more like a bizarre fever dream. With his face an unnatural shade of orange and his hands flailing wildly, he veered between topics so erratically it was as if he was pulling them out of a hat. One moment, he was ranting about Hunter Biden's laptop. The next, he was questioning why Cher's name had so many vowels.
You and Cher, what is going on?
Well, I've never been a fan of Cher, but I thought she took some very cheap shots at Mitt Romney, so I let her have it. I never liked computer-enhanced music.
Okay. And speaking about Mitt Romney, who should his running mate be?
Well, he's got a lot of choices, and I guess time will tell, but it's too early to say.
Yes, Donald, that's the real issue here. Cher, one of the most famous and influential singers of all time, totally sat around waiting for the opportunity to audition for The Apprentice. Makes perfect sense. Just like how Barack Obama probably auditioned for Celebrity Big Brother, and Albert Einstein once sent in an application to be on Shark Tank. The crowd, as always, cheered him on, either oblivious to or completely on board with the absurdity of it all. But outside of that echo chamber, the rest of the world wasn't laughing with him. They were laughing at him. And Cher? She was still exactly where she had been all along, relaxed, unbothered, and victorious. Meanwhile, Cher was doing what Cher does best, winning effortlessly. Without lifting a single bejeweled finger, she had sent the world into a frenzy, exposing Donald Trump's fragile ego for the 1,000th time, and proving yet again that she operates on a level of greatness that he can only dream of attaining. While Trump scrambled to regain control of the narrative, Cher remained untouchable, radiating the kind of confidence and resilience that has defined her legacy for decades. She didn't need to respond with rage, desperation, or defensive tweets. Her mere existence was enough to shake him to his core.
I will try and be as direct.
Respond with rage, desperation, or defensive tweets. Her mere existence was enough to shake him to his core.
I will try and be as direct and honest with you as I possibly can be. I am positive that you are the most unattractive man I have ever met in my entire life. You have demonstrated every loathsome characteristic of the male personality and even discovered a few new ones. You are
At the end of the day, what is Trump left with? Another embarrassing moment to add to his ever-growing list of public meltdowns. Another failed attempt to take down a legend whose entire existence is built on surviving, thriving, and being unapologetically Cher. He may have tried to undermine her, discredit her, or paint himself as the victor in some imaginary battle, but the truth is undeniable. He lost before he even started. Because Cher doesn't just win, she dominates without even trying. She moves through the chaos with the effortless grace of someone who has seen it all, endured it all, and emerged stronger every single time. While Trump fixates on petty feuds and desperate attempts to cling to relevance, Cher continues to rise above it all, untouched, unbothered, and completely in control. The world watches, the headlines explode, and the cycle repeats itself. Trump lashes out, Cher remains iconic, and in the end, only one walks away victorious. Spoiler alert, it's never him.
That people in America could realize what kind of a person he is. What kind of, yes, but worse than that. And probably not very good. But.
And Cher? She doesn't even have to try, because while Donald Trump stumbles through yet another incoherent rally, struggling to form a complete thought, Cher remains the legend she has always been. Undefeated, unbothered, and effortlessly outlasting every single one of his tantrums. She doesn't need to scream for attention or throw a fit to stay relevant, because history has already made it clear. When Cher drops the mic, the echo lasts forever. Her presence alone commands respect. Her words resonate long after she speaks, and her legacy is built on talent, resilience, and an undeniable impact that transcends time. Meanwhile, Trump, despite all his bluster, is still out here struggling to figure out how to close an umbrella, fumbling through the most basic of tasks while pretending to be in control. It's a stark contrast, one defined by power, grace, and longevity versus chaos, desperation, and an endless need for validation. While Cher effortlessly maintains her status as an icon, Trump continues to grasp at straws, stumbling over his own words and making headlines for all the wrong reasons. The difference is clear. Cher doesn't just survive, she dominates, leaving Trump floundering in her shadow.